Welcome. We're going to cover what is paragraphing in this instructional video. Our goals for today are to cover what are paragraphs individually, what is paragraphing generally, where do we use paragraphs, and what are the different types of paragraphs. In terms of background information, if you are a middle or high school student, you have certainly seen paragraphs many times. You've included these in your own writing, and you've also viewed them and used them as a user as you have done your reading. So you already know paragraphs pretty well. Let's take a look at what paragraphs actually are. These are the building blocks of writing, particularly when we're looking at essays, stories, reports and summaries. Even news stories and other styles of writing can include paragraphs as well. So what is paragraphing? When we talk about the term paragraphing, what we're looking at is how a writer will structure, formulate, edit, and perfect paragraphs. Writers are looking for something very particular in their writing in terms of style, flow, tone, structure, and all of those things are affected by how their paragraphs are set up. So where do you use paragraphs? Well, in terms of writing, you use them absolutely everywhere. They'll be in every part of an essay or a story or report. They'll be everywhere. And in what types of writing are we going to see paragraphs? Well, you're going to see them all over the place. Here are some examples: letters, essays, reports, summaries, stories, and news. You're going to see paragraphs, and they'll be structured differently in these different types of writing, but you're going to see paragraphs all over. We're going to focus specifically just on essays for this video and look at three different types of paragraphs. Those are going to be introduction, body, and conclusion paragraphs. Let's take a look specifically at introduction paragraphs. A lot of teachers will tell you that you want to start off really strong in your writing, particularly your essay writing, and so you want to start off with a really strong introduction paragraphs. Here are the recommended sentences and how many sentences that you should have in your introduction paragraph. You're going to want to start off with 1 to 2 hook statements. These are intended to catch the reader's attention. Then you're going to go to a thesis statement. This is your arguable opinion, stating what it is that you will be proving in the essay. After that, you're going to go to general support statements. These need to be in the range of 3 to 7. You don't want to go less than 3, no matter what. And you always want to end every paragraph with a conclusion statement, including your introduction. Body paragraphs come next, and body paragraphs can be quite a bit more flexible. They can be a little bit more creative. You're always going to start off with an introduction or a topic statement. You're going to follow up with general support statements and detail statements. Now those general support statements and detail statements, those are mixed in together. So you may have 2 general support statements in a row and then 2 detail statements in a row. That can be pretty normal. You can also go back and forth between a general support statement and then a detail statement. Again, totally normal. And with every paragraph in an essay, you will always end with the conclusion statement. Conclusion paragraph is structured in somewhat of a similar manner to your introduction, in that it will include a topic statement, which generally is restating the idea behind the thesis statement. You're going to go then to your general support statements, again in that same range of 3 to 7, and then you're going to end off with a conclusion statement. When you're putting everything together, some of the most common problems that students run into are being sloppy, mixed up, or wandering around in their writing. All of these things indicate that they are disorganized. So you want to make sure that organization is something that's at the very top of your priority list when you're looking at your essays. Make sure that you're using some kind of an organizational system like an outline or a graphic organizer. You can create flow in your individual paragraphs as well as between the paragraphs by using a variety of different kinds of transitions. You can do this with transition words, transition phrases, and by stringing your ideas together so that they move conclusively throughout your essay. Things specifically you want to look for in any kind of writing, but particularly in your essay writing, is depth, breadth, and detail. Take an opportunity to use your writing as that opportunity to show your knowledge, to show off a little bit and demonstrate how much that you know, how much that you understand, and how well that you have researched. Good paragraphing outside of school. Let's take a look at a couple of different areas. You're definitely going to use it in terms of creating business reports on the job, writing or reading news articles, documenting conclusions from studies and surveys. This could be used by people who are in the science industries or in the business industries like marketing and things like that, as well as writing letters of inquiry. So anytime that you're looking to collect information, you may end up writing letters of inquiry. Those could be done online or they could be done in a physical letter. Questions that students typically have about paragraphs. Why are there different types of paragraphs? It's really because your essay needs different things at different points in it. You wouldn't want to start off with a conclusion because it just wouldn't make sense. You really have to start off with those introduction pieces because that's what the reader needs to collect information in a logical manner. Is it obvious if students are using the wrong kinds of paragraphs? Absolutely. To a reader of any kind, whether that's a teacher, a grader, a tutor, or someone else, it's very obvious when people are using the wrong paragraphs. And what types of paragraphs are used outside of school? All of these paragraphs you've learned about today, the introductions, the bodies, and the conclusion, those will all be used outside of school, although there are other options as well. And what should students be expected to do? You want to make sure that you always use correct paragraphing formats. They're using introductions, bodies, and conclusions when they're needed in the appropriate places, and that you're writing with depth, breadth, and detail in all of your essays. What we've covered today are paragraphs of the building block of essays, stories, and projects. Students use paragraphs daily to create writing that will communicate their ideas clearly. And what you should know and be able to do at this point will include understanding what paragraphs are, know how to paragraph, know where you use paragraphs, and understand the different types of paragraphs. I hope that this information has been useful to you. Good luck in your writing.